All right, everyone. So this is a follow-up video to the one I just did. I wanted to show you what the web interfaces of a Bitcoin miner and a Bitcoin node look like. So this is the web interface for the Bitcoin miner, which is complicated. If it doesn't look complicated, it's complicated. By most standards, it'd be simple, but you're going to see how simple it is, compared to this is much more complicated than a Bitcoin node. So my Bitcoin miner is not working right now for reasons I have not been able to figure out. So it's mining at 0 hashes per second, which means it's not working. But you can see there's just a variety of complicated things around power and heat and what mining pool I'm connected to and all that sort of stuff. If you have multiple miners, you can do a little swarm here and it'll keep track of all the different Bitcoin miners that you've got. The network just shows the network that it's connected to. And then the settings, which look complicated. Which is part of why I hadn't been able to get this going. So this is what the settings look like. There's mining pools, Stratum ports, Bitcoin addresses. It's just complicated. And I'm showing you this as a contrast to how simple the Bitcoin node interface is. So anyway, so this is what a Bitcoin miner's web interface looks like. And mine is not working for some reason, which is why if you look at the logs, which may come up in a minute here, it will show that I don't know what the problem is, but I am somehow having an I2C transmission unexpected NAC detected error on the I2C transaction failed. Who the heck knows what that means? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But the reason I'm showing you all this is to say Bitcoin miners are more complicated than Bitcoin nodes. They're just more complicated. There's way more to it. Okay, so let's leave the complexity behind and look at my beautiful Umbrel Bitcoin node. There it is. How beautiful. Looks like the App Store. In fact, when you first boot it up, also this Bitcoin miner over here, you got to get to it with an IP address, this 192.168.50.144. It's a bunch of complexity that people don't want to deal with. Umbrel's simple. You plug in this little square box, and then you type umbrel.local. Now, if you wanted to get to their website, you'd type in umbrel.com. But you don't want to go to their website. You want to go to the local Umbrel little Bitcoin node device. And so you just type in umbrel.local, and it is super simple. You just set up a password, and then it looks like the whole thing looks like the App Store. And it literally looks like the App Store. Like, it is just so simple. You can click, and it brings up apps, and you can look through the different apps and, see if there's an app you want, and it's just super simple. Anyway. So this is what the App Store looks like. And again, you can, the apps work exactly like you would expect an app in an App Store to work. We're not going to do that. We're just going to look at the Bitcoin node. Now, there's other cool stuff before we look at the Bitcoin node. This Bitfeed thing will show you the following. Well, there you go. It'll show you the following Bitcoin blocks. So these are all the transactions that are coming into the Bitcoin mempool, which again is a bunch of complexity you don't need to deal with. But it's just, there's cool stuff you can do like this. You can also go look at your own copy of the mempool, which again is even more complexity that you don't need to deal with. But this is your own local copy that shows you exactly how that works. But the beautiful part is, again, when you start, it's just like a beautiful screen with no icons. And they're like, welcome to Umbrel. You can run a Bitcoin node. You can also run a bunch of other random stuff, but it's just beautiful and it's just simple and it's just straightforward and it's gorgeous. And you click on the Bitcoin node and it launches your very own copy of the Bitcoin node. It takes it a second to load. And then this is what took between 21 and 24 hours to load. So it says I'm 100% synchronized. That means my Bitcoin node is synchronized with the entire Bitcoin blockchain. It shows that its most recent block is block 874,786. 4 minutes ago, the block before that was 7 minutes, the block before that 8 minutes, the block before that 19 minutes. I am connected to 11 peers. That is 3 on ClearNet. I don't even know what that is. 7 on Tor and 1 on I2P. And then my mempool, which I've explained what that is in the video, is 40 megabytes. The hash rate is about 900 exahashes for the entire Bitcoin network. And the blockchain size, which is stored entirely on this little Bitcoin node that I talked about in the previous video, is 700 gigabytes. And the hard drive on this little thing is 2 terabytes. So I'll be able to store the Bitcoin network for probably the rest of my life. But anyway, it's super clean. It's super simple. So my experience with messing around with these is the Bitcoin miner is complicated, it is techy, and it is not yet working for me. My experience with running my own Bitcoin node is that it's gorgeous, it's elegant, it's straightforward, it's super simple, and I'm super impressed with Umbrel, who will sell you one of these things for $400. And it actually does a lot more than just being a Bitcoin node. You can run like a gazillion different apps on it, and they're all super elegant, they're all super straightforward, and it works like the App Store. So that is the gist of what the Bitcoin node interface looks like. Super clean, super simple, super straightforward. If you get something like Umbrel or Start9, S-T-A-R-T, the number 9. I'm using Umbrel because it looked easier to use. And at 44 years old, I'm all about ease of use. I used to be a techie, but I just don't like things being more techie than they have to be, because why bother? So I got an Umbrel because it was like brainlessly easy to use. And I have not gotten this little Bitcoin miner, this Bitaxe Bitcoin miner. I have not gotten that working yet. But anyway, I run my own Bitcoin node, which means I could run the entire Bitcoin network at my house if I had to. And you don't need either of these. You don't need a Bitcoin node. You don't need a Bitcoin miner, because there are tens of thousands of people running Bitcoin nodes, and they're all going to work fine with or without you. Although if you want to run one, there's not a downside. More is better, but there's no benefit to the average person unless you're techie and you want to like process Bitcoin transactions on your own node so nobody else on the network even knows that it's you or something like that. But the only people I know that run Bitcoin nodes are like super techie people. So there is no reason for the average person to run a Bitcoin node. The average sort of person that's watching my Facebook live videos, there's no reason to run a Bitcoin node. But it is super simple. It is super straightforward. It is super clean. And Umbrel does really an excellent job and just makes it super, super simple. Unlike over here, this Bitaxe Bitcoin miner, which is complicated by comparison, very complicated by comparison, even though they've attempted to make it as elegant and straightforward as they can. You can ignore all the rest of these apps. These are just random things I'm messing with. But the only one I wanted to talk about was this Bitcoin node in the upper left-hand corner. So that's your quick video today of what is a Bitcoin node, what is a Bitcoin miner. You do not need either one of them, but I thought you might be curious that you can run the entire Bitcoin network with just those two little devices. And it's so cool that you can, even if that's not something the average person needs to do. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.